my little fairy. My little fairy crown. You know, I got this, my boyfriend bought me this. I chose it. I haven't really worn it at all. Like, it's not every day you get to kind of wear this stuff. So, it's just a bit of fun. I've always been a divil for dressing up. I love dressing up. I love, give me a chest full of dressy up clothes. The more fairy-like, flamboyant, chiffon, the better. I think it can be a bit of fun. And in my recent video, I was talking about the inner child. And dressing up definitely keeps my inner child alive and well. So important that we make space and time for our inner child. I mean, I'm definitely guilty of this. Every so often I'll forget about my inner child because the daily grind of life will confuse me and call me and tie me up in knots. And I get so in the momentum and role of being an adult and being busy and work and just on that treadmill of the modern life. And my inner child she'll get upset with me. You know, she'll stamp her foot and say, hello, I'm here. And sometimes we don't hear those little cries from our inner child because we're so busy. I think being too busy in today's world is a disease. I think it's just a distraction. Constantly keeping ourselves busy. Now, there are times we are genuinely really, really busy. There's times I'm really, really busy, and that's just life. I often find with myself, it's like feast or famine. When it rains, it pours. So once I open the gates of receptivity and I'm in a receptive mode, it's like it all just flows in. It all just floods in. And that's when I can get really overwhelmed. And I did a video, I haven't posted it yet, but I was recording a video late the other night, and it was about that imbalance with the super sensitives of having this strong memory of being in the world of spirit. And if you want something, if you want to create something, you simply have to consciously think it, and it exists, you're there. So if you want to run through a fairy field, a meadow of wildflowers with your headdress on, even though you're not physical in spirit, you create that experience and you're immediately there in the wildflower meadow. And in spirit, there are people who like to create streets and cities and dwelling places. And I feel that for those of us who have that strong memory of the spirit world, we haven't forgot the ease of that. We haven't forgot the speed of that. So that when it comes to being in a denser experience, in a heavier energetic plane, in a time-space reality, it can be challenging, to say the least, with having to have patience and having to learn the know-how of actually building something from scratch with our bare hands in a denser way. So for many of us on the spiritual path right now, who are very conscious, who are very awake, you know, early indigos, late indigos, crystals, rainbows, Blu-rays, Arcturians, Lemurians, Syrians. Look, we could be here all day. There's so many labels, there's so many ways of categorizing who we are, where we're from, and that's all wonderful and beautiful. And you know, I've really enjoyed that throughout the years, and it was wonderful to discover myself as a crystal. It was wonderful to hear Dolores Cannon talk about the second wave. Knowing that I was one of the second wave, it made so much sense of why I am the way I am, and that I'm not alone. Hello, my second wavers out there. But at the same time, we are here in this physical time space. And I feel the big challenge for us at this midpoint of the year, as we're going into midsummer, you know, June 21st, which is tomorrow, you know, summer solstice, it's about finding that harmony. It's about being able to have one foot in the spirit world and one foot firmly here in the physical world, and walking together and having the 2 feet dance a dance, move together, having them walk in harmony, you know, the yin yang, and knowing that it's all valid, it's all important, it's all part of why we came here. We didn't come here to have amnesia. We didn't come here to forget. But we also didn't come here to stay out of the physical world and hide away and to try and keep ourselves in a cocoon of spirit. Because otherwise, why come here? Why take on a physical body? Why take on incarnations? So, you know, we have to validate that. We have to honor the fact that we did say, I'd like to go. I want to go and have a physical life. And there must be reasons and purpose behind that choice. And believe me, there is. We may not be privy to it right now, this red hot minute, but that doesn't matter. The point is, you are here to flesh out the physical, sensual, using your senses experience. But you're also here to bring in the high consciousness and to live in the 5th dimension in this incarnation and incarnations that follow from an awakened conscious state. And part of that is remembering your inner child, is being the caretaker and the parent to your inner child. And telling your inner child that they're not alone, they're not abandoned, and integrating them and absorbing them back in to your present tense physical self, whatever stage along the timeline of your life that you're in. I think the beginning of June was very eye-opening for many people. And I feel it was a time of taking off the blinkers. And it was a time of deep honesty, reflection, and an ability to respond, which is what responsibility means. It is you have the awareness, the consciousness, the ability to respond to life, to respond to your heart, to respond to your inner child. That's what responsibility is all about. I feel mid-June has been very graceful, very kind. I really felt I was being cradled and carried by the universe in the last week and a half, and really being open to miracles and receiving, and especially today has been a very, very powerful day. This is definitely a grace time, a grace period before we enter the mayhem and magic that is eclipse season in July. So I'd love to hear how your time is going right now. I'd also love to hear about your inner child. Are you taking care? Are you being kind and being a good parent, a good, conscious, present? You have to be present for yourself, be present for your inner child. And that requires making time, taking time out to do the things that your inner child wants to do. Like my inner child likes to play, as you can see, loves to play. And if I don't make time just to potter and paint and put on some music and do a little dance and dress up and, roll around with my partner and just be playful and silly, my inner child gets cranky. She feels neglected. And I just feel like I bloom and blossom and shine better when I've made time for my inner child. So if you're watching this message today, it's definitely your inner child saying, hello, I'm here. Give me some love. Give me some time. And let your inner child decide how you're going to spend that free time. And it might be something as simple as walking along the beach and dipping your toes in the ocean. It might be going for a meal to your favorite restaurant and having your favorite dessert or your favorite meal. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's important that you listen and that you give your inner child and therefore give yourself, because deep down we're all still that inner child. We are all still that little wee person that we were. We carry that with us. So that's my message for you today.